Star Wars 7 by 7 episode 2189. We ended June with an update on The Mandalorian Season 2, and we're starting July with a new publishing initiative tied to The Mandalorian. Punch it! Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod, and this is Star Wars 7 by 7, your daily dose of Star Wars joy, and thank you so much for joining me for it. So this came as a bit of a surprise, and yet, I have a feeling that ultimately all of these things tie in to whatever would have been revealed at Star Wars Celebration, as in, for example, this new Mandalorian publishing initiative. We are getting the first details about this program, and it's likely that had Celebration Anaheim happened, we would have gotten more specific details at that event. And heck, we may still get those details during that time frame in some other interesting way, shape, or form. But for now, let's focus on what we know. For a start, there are two dates that we have. The first date is December 1st, 2020, and that is the date on which we get an adult novel currently tentatively titled Sparrow. And I'm saying tentative, but I mean, that's probably the title, right? But when you go to the Penguin Random House website, there's just a listing for something called Sparrow, and the only thing it says is that it's in the category of space opera, aha, and that it's an upcoming book from Penguin Random House. It says nothing else. If you go to the Penguin Random House website and you come across that listing, you wouldn't even know it had anything to do with Star Wars. And just for fun, a quick internet search about the meaning of sparrows: simplicity, community, joy, and protection. Those are words that come up. And additionally, it's also, I guess, a sacred bird to the goddess Aphrodite, the goddess of love. So, take that for what you will. In Star Wars canon, there are occasional references to sparrows, like, for example, a song sparrow was mentioned in Dooku Jedi Lost, according to Wikipedia. There's a thatch sparrow that's mentioned in Aftermath, again, thanks to Wikipedia. So, yeah, no particular indication what it might be. And the, little missiles that came out of his vambrace are whistling birds, which, makes one think of sparrows in a way. I think of sparrow, almost like, a little bird, almost like something that you would say to a child, like that would be a nickname you might give. It's also, a name you might give a child in general anyway. But yeah, so now we get to wonder for the next, oh gosh, it's coming out August, September, November, 5 months. So 5 months from today, we will find out what the deal is with Sparrow. We'll probably find out a little bit sooner, at least, some top line things. Anyway, the other date we know is December 15th, and that is the date on which the art of Star Wars The Mandalorian for Season 1 will be released. It is another one of those beautiful art of books. It's written by Phil Stozak. Phil, I hope I got it right. And I imagine everything that you have yet to learn about Baby Yoda and his creation, you're going to find out in that book. I mean, he's on the cover, for pity's sake, with a new cover designed and drawn and created by Doug Chiang. So that's very cool. These are just a couple of the things that have been announced as part of this new Mandalorian publishing initiative. There is also going to be an ultimate visual guide by Pablo Hidalgo. There is no release date on that just yet. I did poke around the DK Publishing website, and so far, no release date as of yet. There's also going to be a level 2 reader, like a young kids reader called Allies and Enemies. There will be an 8x8 storybook with a title to be revealed later. There's also going to be a junior novelization, and that is coming from Joe Schreiber. That, well, when you see the word novelization, that suggests that it's going to be based on content that's already been produced, but there's no indication yet as to what it's a novelization of. Is it a novelization of Season 1 or Season 2 or of only certain episodes thereof? We don't yet know. Obviously, that's another bit of information that is yet to be revealed. But what they also did say is that there were going to be Mandalorian-inspired comics coming from both Marvel and IDW Publishing. And, oh goodness, magazine, novelty, and coloring and activity titles are on the way from Titan, Studio Fun, Crayola, Thunder Bay Press, Disney Publishing Worldwide, and Dreamtivity. So, and also a little golden book of The Mandalorian, too. It's going to be fun. So, just for the record, Marvel comics for the, I'm saying older folks, it's not exactly what I mean. IDW publishes them for younger readers, and Marvel goes, from everybody older than the younger readers. Let's put it that way. Titan is, of course, the company that publishes Star Wars Insider magazine, so I presume that's what the magazine references to. The novelty thing seems to indicate Studio Fun, potentially, and Studio Fun has been the producer of things like, Rey's Survival Guide and the journals of various Star Wars characters that have been published in the sequel sequel era. So that, I think, is what we have to look forward to in those realms. And also a Screen Comics retelling of Season 1. So I have to say I'm almost surprised that it never occurred to us that something like this might be coming down the pike. I wonder if, it had anything to do with the fact that they had to wait to see how Season 1 of The Mandalorian did before they put this kind of effort into publishing initiatives supporting and building off of the world being created with The Mandalorian. If The Mandalorian, heaven forfend, had bombed on Disney Plus, then I can see a world where, they, might not bother with all of this publishing content. Maybe they would do some things for the completists, like, say, the visual guide, for example, or the art of, but I can't imagine that they would have gone further if it weren't for the extraordinary success of Season 1 of The Mandalorian. So I guess congratulations to Disney and Lucasfilm in that regard, because that means that they made something awesome enough that we're going to get a lot more stories with these characters. Very cool. So that's what we know so far, and as we learn more, then we'll talk about it here on the show. But for now, that is going to do it for today's episode. Thank you so much for joining me for it, as always. And may the Force be with you, wherever in the world you may be.
Star Wars 7x7 is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright 2020 by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.